Hi, I'm Deborah, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. Please join me as I create with compassion. Garden in Bloom is the featured stamp set in today's card. On the back of the card, I will be using Hand Stamped for You from Better Than Email. Featured colors today are Rose Red, Garden Green, Crushed Curry, and Island Indigo from the Regals collection. The sentiment will be stamped in Soft Suede from the Neutrals collection. I will also be stamping the medium size Whisper White envelope to coordinate with the card. The card base is rose red, cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and it is scored at 4 1/4. We need only 2 pieces of Whisper White cardstock, cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. One will be our front panel, one will be the inside panel. I have the stamping pierce mat here that will be covered by a piece of scratch paper because we are using photopolymer stamp sets, and I just think it gives it a little crisper image when we have something kind of cushiony underneath. To begin stamping our card, we're going to start with the outline image. There's a little tab here at the top. We're going to have that pointing upward. That will make it easier when we stamp the colored portion of the flower. The outline will be stamped kind of toward the left upper of our front panel. Then without re-inking it, we're going to stamp it towards the bottom left of the inner panel. While we have this stamp available, we're going to take our envelope, making sure the flap is up at the top, ink up the outline image, and it's up to you if you like it bold or lighter. I'm going to go ahead and stamp it in the bottom left with the bold color. Now we're done with that image. I will be cleaning it later, but for the sake of the video, I won't make you watch me do that, but I might need that block. Now we have the solid image, photopolymer, so you can see through. Here's the little tab up at the top. We're going to go ahead and ink that in the rose red. Then we're going to stamp it on our scratch paper here once. Then we're going to take it to our front panel and stamp it. Having that little tag up at the top makes it so easy to line up. Then without re-inking, we will stamp that on our inside panel. Don't want to forget our envelope while we're stamping, saves a little time. I'm going to stamp that off, line it up, and give the envelope a little color as well. Next, we will go ahead and stamp the stem. There's a long stem that will be done in garden green. I'm going to go ahead and get the envelope stamped right down there, and then ink it up. I find it easier to turn my card base to the side, and just helps me get it a little straighter, just like that. I'm not going to re-ink it. I'm going to turn the inner panel to the side and stamp the stem as well. When you stamp off on a piece of scratch paper or on a project and then stamp it again without re-inking, that's called second generation stamping. Now the stamp set comes with some leaves. It's an outline image, and we're going to get a block, and we're going to go ahead and stamp that in garden green as well. It's photopolymer, so I can see right where I would like to put it. I'm not going to re-ink it. I want just a little bit of my leaves showing on the inner panel, like that. Next, we're going to stamp the inside of the leaves. So we're going to ink that up in garden green. I want to stamp off. I like having the inside just a little lighter than the outline stamp, but you don't have to if you like more color, go for it, and stamping it on the inside panel, again without stamping off. Next, we're going to go ahead and do our sentiment. The front sentiment is, hope you're feeling special today. Hope you're feeling special today. So let's get that on a block using soft suede. Ink that up. I want it down kind of in the bottom right. You always want to stamp straight down and straight up. And then for the inside, we're going to say, because that's just what you are. And again, in the soft suede, inking that up. And in the bottom right corner of our inside panel. Next, we will be adding a butterfly. There's also a bee in the stamp set. If you would prefer a bee, that's wonderful. This stamp set has small images as well as big images. There's more flowers, bee, butterfly. We're going to ink the butterfly up in the Island Indigo, and I just want them in the upper right hand corner. And then on my inside of the card, without re-inking, I'm putting him kind of above the sentiment. Now I don't want to forget my envelope. I want a butterfly on my envelope, so I will ink that up, and this time I'm going to kind of have him maybe about here. Where is a stamp, solid stamp. We're going to stamp our butterfly wings or whatever onto scratch paper, then onto the envelope. Our envelope is complete. Going to ink it up again, stamp onto the scratch paper, my card base, without re-inking the inside panel of my card. Now my flower needs a little center. The stamp set has a little circular type stamp, I believe, for the body of the bee, but we're going to use it for the center of our flower using crushed curry. Stamp off on scratch paper, stamp that in the middle of the flower on our front panel, not re-inking, stamping the middle of the flower on our inside panel. And I almost forgot about my envelope flower. I'm going to go ahead and stamp off and take care of. Now my envelope is complete. I would like to ink a little bit around the edges. So just tapping my sponge onto the rose red and swiping it along the edge of the cardstock. So that is complete. Now let's take our card base. This is the front of the card. This is the back of the card. We're going to take our hand stamped for you stamp. Get that on a block. I like the tone on tone look, so we will ink that up in rose red, and in the middle down at the bottom of the card we will stamp, and we're ready to adhere our card panels to the card. You can use snail, your ATG gun, liquid adhesive, whatever your favorite adhesive is. And we're going to center this on the front card panel. Go ahead and fold your card base. You can use your bone folder, give it a nice crease. Put adhesive on the back of your inner panel, and this piece goes into the center of the inner panel. And there is our card and matching envelope. Links for all of the supplies used can be found in the description area. You can shop at any time in my online store. Thumbs up and subscriptions would be wonderful. Thank you for joining me today as we created with compassion. See you next time.